This is Alaska, and with a whopping 665,400 square miles, it's the largest state in all of North America. In fact, if you were to take the massively sized state of Alaska and place it here on top of the 48 lower US states, it stretches all the way out from the East Coast to California. But Alaska isn't just this gigantic landmass more geographically similar to Canadian provinces than other US states. No, it has 100,000 glaciers, 34,000 miles of coastline, and more than 3 million lakes. Oh, and Alaska is pretty remote, being completely disconnected from the 48 lower states, often referred to as the continental or contiguous United States. And the state of Alaska has less than 1 million residents, an incomplete highway system, and more natural resources than any place else in the US. So while Alaska's unique geography provides it with a deep natural wealth of unthinkable proportions, it also contributes to the state's severe isolation and a lack of city building, amenities, and modern luxuries there. See, Alaska can only be reached through air, boat, or international passage through Canada. And while it's impossible to truly describe the awe-inspiring wonder that is Alaskan nature, the words wild, rugged, and immense often come first to mind, with Alaska being one of the few remaining naturally wild habitats for animals like polar bears, moose, and caribou. It's also the home of America's first, second, and third tallest mountains, including Denali, the highest mountain peak in all of North America. However, Alaska's significant distance to and separation from the contiguous United States makes life there, well, let's just say complicated, or perhaps even outright difficult, especially when compared to life in traditional US states. As I explain why that is, why life on the Alaskan Peninsula can be very harsh even for the 732,000 people that already call it home, I will also be looking at the livability of Alaska's 5 most important cities, breaking down their unique characteristics and why you should, or perhaps shouldn't, consider relocating to the last frontier. And I really think that nickname, the last frontier, says a lot about what Alaska stands for, as Alaska is largely unsettled, with the few real cities there serving as a last line of modern settlement, a final barrier between Alaskan society and the wilderness that lies beyond. If you're beginning to wonder if you could even survive Alaska's problematic topography, extremely cold winters, and isolation, well, that would be understandable, as Alaskan winters are difficult even for lifelong residents, with months of darkness and a polar night that only grows darker as you go further north. And small community living in Alaska can be nearly impossible, not only for the difficult terrain and extreme temperatures, but with several towns completely lacking access to roadway outlets. And yet, I would argue that Alaska's economics and public safety are considerably more concerning for its residents or anyone looking to move there. I will go more in depth on Alaskan economics and safety as I break down the livability of Alaska's most important cities in just a moment. But a more general overview would be that the state has one of the highest crime rates in all of America, with violent crime being particularly problematic, and Alaska having the nation's 5th highest rate of violent crime. The cost of living in Alaska is also nearly 30% higher than the national average, with Alaska being one of the most expensive places to live in the United States. Though keep in mind, Alaska doesn't levy a state sales or income tax, and median income is very competitive, even with the most prosperous of US states. Let's start with Sitka and Ketchikan, the 4th and 5th most populous Alaskan cities. Of course, Kink, Fairview, and Wasilla both technically have more residents than Sitka or Ketchikan, but they are part of Metro Anchorage, and I wanted to address independent Alaskan cities here. And Sitka, located in southeastern Alaska, is a real city. A very small city with just over 8,000 residents, but a legitimate little city nonetheless. Sitka is also an expensive city though, with a cost of living that's about 40% higher than the national average. Ketchikan is also located in southeastern Alaska, but while it's a bit smaller than Sitka, it's arguably more important, as Ketchikan serves as an essential hub for the state's vast fishing economy. Then again, the story of Alaska revolves mostly around its 3 biggest cities: Juneau, Fairbanks, and Anchorage. Juneau is the 3rd largest city in the state of Alaska, despite it having just under 32,000 residents and a slightly declining population. Juneau is mostly known for being the capital of Alaska, also located in the southeastern portion of the state, though it can't be reached even by other southeastern cities without a boat or plane, something that I think really outlines Alaska's staggering size and remoteness. Being the state capital of Alaska, Juneau has a thriving economy with significant employment in government, tourism, and fishing. It's known for its natural beauty, surrounded by scenic ocean views and tall mountains. Juneau has the lowest crime rate of Alaska's 3 big cities and a strong community, though it's also one of the most expensive cities in the state. Fairbanks is the second largest Alaskan city, though its population is only slightly larger than Juneau. Fairbanks is known mostly for its long, cold winters and a close proximity to the Arctic Circle. So outdoor winter activities like skiing, snowmobiling, and ice fishing are an important part of the culture there. Fairbanks is also home to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, the state's second largest university, which brings in students and researchers from all around the world. It's also home to the controversial Trans-Alaskan Pipeline, with the university and pipeline there being an important part of the city's economic success. The city of Fairbanks is the largest point in the interior of Alaska, nicknamed the Golden Heart City for its central location and warm community. Fairbanks also has more crime than Juneau, but less than Anchorage. Then there's Anchorage, located in south-central Alaska. And with nearly 300,000 residents, a thriving economy, a robust marketplace, and the state's largest university, Anchorage is much bigger than any other Alaskan city. It's the home of the state's tallest building, and companies like the Kiewit Building Group, Far North Digital, and the Alaska Railroad are all located there. In fact, more than half of Alaska's population lives in the Anchorage metropolitan area. And Anchorage serves as Alaska's de facto transportation hub, with the Port of Anchorage, the Glenn Highway, and the Ted Stevens International Airport, the largest and most trafficked airport in Alaska, all being located in the city. But it also has the state's highest rate of crime, so safety there can be very problematic, with crime in Anchorage varying significantly from neighborhood to neighborhood, but generally being much higher than other Alaskan cities. So while Anchorage offers the closest thing to big city life in all of Alaska, it also shares many of the downsides of big city living elsewhere. However, places like Chicago and New York don't enjoy the impeccable northern lights, and Anchorage is still an Alaskan city, so there's plenty of unique nature and open spaces all around the city.